What's going on, everyone? Juice Bags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. When it comes to the brand new game mode Elemental Rumble, you no doubt will want to go through and complete all the maps. That way you can complete the weekly mission. However, after that, and it comes time to armor farm, every week there's going to be a quote best unquote map to grind on. Now, what map is that this week? Well, in my opinion, it is the Forest Crossroads. Let's hop on in and check it out. Now, this is a variation on a build that Aramir showed me. I'm not sure exactly what he was doing for the CC. I think he may have been using proton beams with a water aura, so we're going to do that a little differently. But this is the grind build he's been doing. Of course, we are on hard mode, Forest Crossroads Elemental Rumble. Now, when the first thing we want to think about is what type of crowd control we want to use. Now, of course, you can use different crowd control on every lane, or you can kind of dumb things down for yourself, and that is what I am going to do. So we see here, those enemies can't be petrified. Over here, we've got enemies that can't be ignited. There, we've got enemies that can't be frozen, and then enemies that can't be frozen back there as well. So with that in mind, I am going to be using the Electrocute combo for crowd control by combining water and storm damage. Now, let's go ahead and run through all the items we're going to use. I am going to use that water aura, as I mentioned, Deadly Strikes, Destruction, and Vicious Strikes with a defense rate, anti-heal, and tenacity. Anti-heal is quite the option in expedition farming, and of course in onslaught mode you can just re-roll maps to get away from any lanes where you would want anti-heal. However, it is super helpful on the water lanes, there is no doubt, so I would suggest anyone get a little anti-heal out there. With that, we're also going to be using some snakes. Let's see, let's give it a power transfer, I guess. I got ramping, beam, power transfer, and destruction, controller, defense rate, and anti-melee. Now, these are going to be magic damage. So everywhere we look throughout the map, the magic damage is going to be 50%. So they're only going to be doing 50% damage, but it's going to be that consistent 50% on every single lane. Now, we got a fire lane, or pardon me, earth lane over here, which means having some fire damage in our build could be quite beneficial. So with that in mind, we are going to be using the lovely Elder Dragon. This one is a unique setup. Any Elder Dragon setup you have is going to get the job done as long as it's a complete setup. This one's unique, motherly unique, with destruction, mass destruction, and all for one. And then, of course, we're going to have some baby birds down there, just a couple of them to up that motherly instinct. Use an anti-melee crit damage defense rate on those with destruction, power transfer, and vampiric empowerment. Now, besides that, we are also going to want some storm damage. I think every week you're going to want a little storm damage because the water lanes definitely feel like the most challenging lanes. So getting a little storm damage into your mix is without a doubt going to be helpful. So we got storm damage for back here, and we got storm damage for right there. So we want basically fire and magic pointed this way. We want storm and magic pointed this way, and we want storm and magic pointed that way. So let's go ahead and do it all up. I am using a diffused buff beam. I got mixed emotions on that. The extra power would be really nice, but we would give up the range. I am going to use that anyway. We're going to start just kind of right in front of the core and just do a max length buff beam, something like that. So let's start off with our birds, our baby birds. Let's get just 2 dragon's nest. Right there on the buff beam, and then we'll get Mama out to hang out with the kids. And we'll put her like that. So it's going to be covering both of these lanes as the enemies come out. Now we want to focus on our storm damage a little, and we've got the lovely railgun. One of the benefits with the railgun is it does have a wide firing arc, which means we're going to be able to cover both of those lanes. So let's go something like that. We're going to get 3 of them down there. Now we are going to throw a little railgun power in up front too, just because railguns are beast. For this one, we're going to put right on the edge so that it covers all 3 of those lanes. So let's go ahead and get those down. Just something like that. And then we want our magic damage in. So let's pop back over to our trusty mystic and get some snakes. Snakes for the win. Now you do want to make sure, like, the placement there is a little bit suspect. Looks like we're close enough where we're still getting the buff. But make sure you're hitting all your stuff, y'all. I didn't even realize how sloppy that placement was. And then for our magic damage, we're just going to go with 2 of them in the back. Now, one of the main things here, the magic damage is for cleanup of the fodder. But additionally, it's going to be crazy helpful against the flyers. The flyers can be the real deal in this game mode. There is no doubt. And then we want to give it a destructive pylon. Of course, I got all my pylons on the reflect beam. Now, I mentioned we were going to use electrocute. Let's do it. We're using a water aura with that anti-heal. Just stacking all the range. We're not trying to get any power out of it. And we're just going to throw it up in the lanes. To go along with that water aura, I'm going to be using the EMP trap for the storm damage. So we got defense rate, anti-melee, and anti-chaos. Yeah, I know, y'all. I know. I'll get that anti-chaos off there. But for now, that's what we're going with. It's just there for the crowd control, not for the power. Voltage spike, defense rate, and deadly strikes. So let's just slap it down, say right there. We want to make sure we're CCing them like inside of our range of our other defenses. So don't CC them out there where nothing is, nothing can hit them. So we're CCing them up close. Let's go something like that. We got enough left for what? A couple of reflect beams. Oh, I never got a boost star in. We better get a boost star down. And then that leaves me what? 2 reflect beams. So we're going to use, we're obviously the reflect beams are to cover the core, but we want to give a little ancillary protection to our stuff as well. So we're kind of doing the minimum core coverage that we would need. Now, the reflect beams, of course, are going to also help us out for the flyers. So like that one is actually out a bit too far probably. But it will help us out with the flyers. Now, I am going to spend my time through the waves power boosting and knocking back. In addition, I've got my hunter in deck in case any flyers get uppity. And then I'm going to take that up one more notch if I have any major issues and I need to bust out the real meat. I am just not going to use Barbarian, although you should probably use Barbarian. I am going to go with Mercenary. So let's see. Let's spend our 200. We're going to get the most value out of upgrading those and probably the Mama Bird. And we'll just slap one rando in. So let's let it fly here. This is a tower boosting initiate, obviously, but it is very focused on knockback, and it is incredibly useful in survival and in this game mode. Amazingly useful how much you can shut down lanes with mods that you most likely consider trash. So, like, the minecart mod is absolutely ridiculously good in this particular setting. So we got 2 stacks of knockback going here with the cart and the wave, and then we are going with that fire cage as the third because, you know, it's a fire cage, for God's sakes. It looks cool as hell. And the main thing we're looking for here is we are watching for bosses, which obviously wave 1 here, we don't have any bosses. But then flyers. Flyers in this game mode will ruin you. There is no doubt. Particularly water flyers. And both of our flyer lanes are water lanes here. So we're going to have to keep an eye out on them. But mainly, just going to keep knocking back. And the knockback isn't a huge part of it here in Wave 1, but you all will see exactly what I'm talking about when the meanies get here in the upcoming waves. But we are able to basically have our way with a lane. We can just shut a lane right on down using the knockback. I've been criticized very heavily for my knockback initiate over the last year or so. And I'm telling you, y'all are missing out if you don't have one set up. It shuts a lane down as effective as a barbarian does. It's just that good. It really, really is. So get you some knockback, y'all. Get you some knockback. We got all the typical power boosting stuff, but then using that. Runaway Minecart, Rogue Wave, and Molten Cage. And that is getting the job done for me. All right, so Mama has got to go to the roof first things first. And then we are going to get those snakes upgraded first. And that is going to be the upgrade rotation. Another thing, it's real easy to get lazy in expedition farming and not look at where your bosses are coming from. You are probably going to want to look at where the bosses are coming from in Elemental Rumble, y'all. Just saying. Let's get it. So we're going to have an Earth Elite coming out on that lane, and that one will actually be the easiest of all the elites to deal with here because of the Mama Dragon, and of course that's going to take double damage from fire, which is just going to wreck that fool. And we are going to keep them nice and controlled with our initiate. There comes or not our Earth Elite, that is Earth Commander rolling out hot. I'm also using that Halloween pet, which is quite nice. I'm going to throw it back there, and then let's just work on this Earth Commander. We're given all the damage debuffs on him from Tandem Strike and the other just initiate goodies. And you see, that dude just got wrecked. And we did get a knockback out of the deal on him as well. But I think Earth lanes are going to be the easiest lanes, y'all. And purely because of the power of the Mama Bird. But not just that. There's other things that are really, really good. Like knockback kind of is king in survival and in the Elemental Rumble. Knockback does really, really well. So like flat cannons do really, really well. Well, you can easily get powerful flat cannons that are set up for earth damage that have really, really nice knockback. Malthius is a little pain in the butt too. Just because particularly like a water Malthius can be a huge pain. Fairly smooth sailing so far. Things won't start to get sketchy until we get to the point where we've got multiple commanders at the same time. Things will definitely get a little bit harsh there. All right, so we've got Mama fully upped. I guess we just work on the snakes, and then we can throw... Actually, it doesn't even matter. We can just spam them. Just spam it in there now. And let's let it fly again. I did the old expedition faux pas and failed to check the boss lanes. All right, so we got a water commander coming from back here. Hopefully those railguns are going to nuke the crap out of that water commander here. You know what? We can even get a little crowd control in the lane there with our scarecrow pet. And now we got another water commander coming out of this lane to the left, and easy to get focused on those commanders. But you see what else we have that might be off the radar for you, and that is flyers. Those flyers, like I said, they are the real deal. They are gonna give you a real hard time if you're not too careful. I think that backwater commander is already gone. We have to worry about this one. And see the minecart in action. Keeping them nice and knocked back. As soon as those railguns start popping off on it, it's going to get chunked down real quick. Being a water commander. And sitting very nicely right in the middle of that anti-heal aura as well. That's another thing with the knockback. Don't knock them back out of your stuff, you know? You want to focus on the crowd control, but you want to make sure that you're crowd controlling them inside of the zone where you want them. I think that flyer is going to go. We just got this mob, or this pack left. Are some beefy boys, that is for sure. We got somebody stuck over there, maybe? Oh, it's a little digger. Alright, so we just got our diggy boy left. Alright. So I think from this point, the last two waves should be a bit of a challenge for sure. I think we can just continue to spam it up. Hit the babies. We'll hit them baby dragons too. All right, we got a captain over here. We got another captain there. Captains everywhere. The captains, you know, captains like to run fast, y'all. Captains like to run fast, so no doubt we will want to keep an eye out for those guys too. And that fire cage, I tell you what, it is the coolest looking thing. Definitely one of those things that I use it. I use it for aesthetics over effectiveness. The diminishing returns get stacked up so fast on the stun. The fire aspect of it doesn't really do much. Okay, here comes our captains. Now with so many, we got the commanders and the captains out on the map. Now's when you really need to make sure you're not losing sight of those flyers. And here comes a captain. We're going to knock that captain back. Looks like he's just about burned. Okay, one captain down. Every time that I've lost, had to replay from waves so far because of flyers, it was at this stage where you've got a bunch of super tanky mobs that you really want to pay attention to. Now that other captain is pretty thick still. Got a lot of meat in that lane right there. In fact, let's get our pet out there as well. And there we go. I just felt a fly. It felt like a kobold bumped me in the back. Alright, we got the captain. I think it's GG's now. One Skelly that can't seem to make up his mind what he wants to do here. There we go. All right. So final wave, pretty smooth sailing so far. It doesn't always go that smooth. Like I said, the flyers can get a little intense. I know in this wave, we are going to have some Cobalt dive bombers, so we're definitely going to want to keep an eye out for them, as they're just not going to burn fast enough from the defenses. So we're going to want to make sure we get a little damage in on them. In addition, we got what? We got a Earth Commander there. We got a water there. Another cobalt over there. The cobalt flyers, they will get you. They will get you if you're not careful. They have gotten me anyway. Now, I can slow that lane down out there. I can basically shut that lane down for a little bit with my pet. Or did I just completely shoot over all their heads? I believe I just shot over all their heads, and that did absolutely nothing. So much for that plan. I was going to shut that lane down and then focus on the water guy, but let's just burn the Earth Commander out anyway. And not really looking behind me, but I am keeping an eye on the mini-map for flyers. We've got a lot of power hitting that lane, but flyers could definitely get a little sneaky on me if I'm not careful here. I've gotten 2 pieces now, one from the weekly, and then another one dropped, but they're both helmets. So I can't even, like, check out the 2-piece set bonus yet. This was crazy smooth running map. Like I said, they don't always run quite this smooth. So I would not expect this chill of an experience every time, because I mean, at least 50% of the runs, I have a moment where I've got to, like, panic mode, get over to an area to deal with something. So this one just went real smooth, and I am grateful for that since I was recording it and all. But yeah, it is normally not quite this this smooth of an experience. And there we go. We got another completion in Elemental Rumble. Now let's see. Maybe, just maybe, we will get an armor piece right here. Wouldn't that be incredible? I haven't gotten any of the pets yet either. All right, we didn't get any of them. So no armor piece, no pet, but we got another run in, and we got another one of our Firestones. This is what we're going to need to upgrade the gear. But anyway, there we go, y'all. That is the farm build that I'm probably going to be using all week and grinding this map out, trying to get some armor pieces. I'm super excited about the fire set. I want to get it put together and play around with it. But yeah, far cry from getting it set up quite yet. But that will do it for now, y'all. Thanks an absolute ton for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Take it easy.